Howdy folks, I'm Agitated Algae, awkwardly arguing about amber aquatic apples.
I'm Amber.
And here are more amber aquatic apples for us to argue about. Amber, I think those apples look yellow.
Well, I mean, I am not an aquatic apple, so I don't know if I have any role in this.
Alright, well, let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Requesting Reimbursement from My Friend After He Canceled His Wedding? I'm a 22-year-old male, and I was supposed to be a groomsman in my friend, a 22-year-old male's wedding this month. We recently graduated from the same college where he met his now ex-fiancée. We were all in the same classes, and they met during a large class first semester of junior year. Things got serious fast, and by that summer, they were engaged and beginning to plan their wedding. That was supposed to happen the month after we all graduated this June. My friend has always been super enthusiastic about this girl and their relationship. He was the driving force on them getting engaged so quickly and so young. And I was super excited for them when they got engaged and very honored when I was asked to be a groomsman. Well, this is my first time being a groomsman, and I must have been a little naive about just how much financial investment this would end up being. After renting a suit, $250, going on a bachelor's party in Miami, $500 for my expenses, and a gift off the registry, $75, we're looking at a pretty serious investment from me in this relationship. I was more than happy to cover all of those costs because he has always been a close friend to me, and I was really excited to be part of it all. However, we are all full-time students during this period of time, and it stretched the wallet more than I typically would want to. With all that background information, that brings us to early April of this year, 6 weeks before the wedding. My friend just casually mentions to me that he ran into an old friend of ours from high school, and that he had a pretty long conversation catching up with her. I remember him clearly just casually mentioning that she was single and still really cool. I didn't really think much of it, but looking back now, that was probably a pretty serious red flag. His demeanor really didn't change much up until the week of the wedding. He didn't say anything specific about getting cold feet, but he definitely wasn't acting like his normal self, which I just accounted for nerves for the big week. 2 nights before the wedding, me, my friend, and all the groomsmen were in town together eating. The wedding venue was about an hour away from the town that we went to school in, and all the groomsmen were sharing an Airbnb. The groom was staying with his family up until the wedding night. My friend was basically a shell of himself, not really talking, laughing, or joking. We called it an early night and went our separate ways. The next morning, the day of the rehearsal dinner, we get a text from the groom in the groomsmen group text saying that he was really sorry, but he wasn't going to go through with the wedding. We were all obviously shocked. So the best man took the initiative on behalf of all of us to reach out and call him. I wasn't there for the call, but the best man reported back to us after the call that he was totally serious and was already on his way back to his parents' house, about an hour away from where the wedding venue was. And that was it. We all went home. In the days that followed, I tried to be a supportive friend. I sent a quick text saying that I was here for him if he needed anything, but we never heard back. This is where things get ridiculous, and it set me off. My friend and his fiancée were supposed to go on their honeymoon 2 weeks after the wedding because they were planning on moving to a new city out of state to start their careers and needed to get settled, and my assumption was that they just canceled the whole thing. That brings us to last week. My friend, who has been completely unresponsive for over 3 weeks, finally texts me back. He apologizes for canceling the wedding and wasting our time, and let me know that he actually had gone on his honeymoon to Mexico with that girl he ran into 6 weeks before the wedding. I don't know if he had been talking to her on the down low the entire time since he ran into her, or decided that he wasn't ready to marry his fiancée and reached out to her after canceling the wedding. But to me, it didn't matter at all. Learning that he threw away everything that he had built for this other girl and truly wasted everyone's time, and especially money, when he obviously wasn't ready to settle down was the final straw. I said that I didn't care what he did anymore and that I want my money back for everything that I put into his wedding. I sent him a Venmo request for $850 and blocked his number. I don't expect him to pay me back, obviously, but just feel so frustrated with him that I don't want to be his friend anymore, but still wanted to send a message. So, did I take my response too far, or should I just continue to call this friendship done for good? Alright, folks, what do you think?
I think this is a bit much. I understand OP's frustration here, and I think it was pretty lousy of the friend to still go on the honeymoon. Like, if his ex-partner contributed in any way, shape, or form, then definitely she should have had a say or been compensated somehow for that trip. But OP went to the bachelor party, so like the gift he can still return, presumably,
Yep.
you know, and so get the money back from that. But that does not change the fact that OP went to the bachelor party and partied it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the vast majority of the expenses are for this, right? Like, I don't know where the $850 came from, because when I calculated it out, I thought it was just $800, because it was like $500 for the party, you know, $50 for the gift, and then like $250 for the tuxedo rental or something like that. I think those were the numbers. But I think that asking people for a refund is probably a bit garish in this particular case. I think that, yeah, he went to a party, he had fun, he enjoyed himself. Yeah, I mean, your friend discovered something valuable about himself, and he, most importantly, didn't just go through with the wedding to make everyone happy, right? Like, that could have been the worst case scenario. And I think that, yeah, maybe it's a little suspect that he is now going on this honeymoon with this other girl, but I also think like this at this point in time is between him and his ex, right? If they want to settle the accounts, like if she ends up paid a bit of this expense for this honeymoon, then I do think that he deserves to compensate her for those expenses. But I do agree with Amber's assessment here, like return the gift and get your $50 back for the gift, and that's really about all you're going to be able to do out of the situation. I mean, the tux rental is kind of an unfortunate situation. And I mean, the bachelor party, hopefully OP enjoyed themselves in Miami there, for, the $500 that they spent. But again, like, he's young. OP admits that they're young, and it was probably, he realized that he was too young to get married at this point in time. I mean, clearly he's too young to get married, right? So I think that he just needs to make his mistakes. And as for OP ending the friendship, that's OP's prerogative, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're disgusted with OP over this and think that this isn't a friendship worth salvaging, everyone's going to have their own tolerances for those kinds of things, right? If OP wants to get down to the real story and understand exactly what happened, then, I mean, they should sit down and talk with their friend. If it's, their friend is doing things like cheating on their ex or something like that, and OP is disgusted by that and doesn't want to be a friend because of that, then, I mean, certainly that's even more justification. So I just really think this is one of those situations where I feel bad for OP for spending so much money, but they agreed to be a groomsman. They agreed to go to the party. They, helped to set everything up. And unfortunately, one of the harsh lessons in life is if you choose to be part of a wedding party, you can't guarantee that the wedding will happen, right? And that means that that money may disappear. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk? My older sister's ridiculous request. Am I the jerk? My older sister got married last year, and I'm getting married this year. While we were talking about future plans, I mentioned that my fiance and I don't plan to wait very long before trying for kids. She immediately responded, well, you have to wait for me to have a baby first. I was caught very off guard. My response was that I wasn't okay making that kind of promise because no one knows how long it can take for someone to get pregnant. It could happen very quickly, or it could take years. And I don't think that it's responsible to put my life on hold based on someone else's decision. She also wanted to wait to get pregnant so that she wasn't pregnant at my wedding, which she used against me in our argument. I never asked her to do this, and I think that it would be selfish to do so, since again, you never know your own pregnancy journey. Maybe she envisioned being the first to experience certain milestones as an older sister, and I can empathize with that. But at the same time, I feel like the decisions about where to start a family should be made by the couple involved, not dictated by siblings. Was I insensitive for refusing to wait, or was her request unreasonable? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Her request is unreasonable. You need to do your own family planning on your own timeline. If she wants to wait longer, that's her prerogative, but that just means that she may not be the first person to conceive. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Being oldest doesn't mean you gotta pop out a kid first.
Yeah, I mean, OP is getting married later this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just tell the sister, look, I'm not asking you to hold off on getting pregnant. That's your decision. If you want to get pregnant now, I won't be hurt and I won't feel like you're taking away from the wedding. So go at it, right? And not actually, and take that away from her, because she's trying to use this as leverage, and she's trying to justify having OP wait based off of that, when OP makes it very clear that they have no problem with her doing this. That means that the only reason at that point in time is because she doesn't want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm imagining she doesn't want to be pregnant for the wedding because she wants pictures and other kinds of things like that, right? So again, I think that OP needs to take the leverage away from her because she wants to use this as leverage, and OP should just put their foot down and say, nope, you go ahead and do you. I have no interest in dictating when you get pregnant or not. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Locking My Nephew Out of My Room with Collectibles Inside? I live alone. 2 weeks ago, my family came over for dinner. My parents, my brother, his wife, and their son, who is 11. I have a separate room where I keep all of my Lego sets, Funko figures, and a couple of other collectibles. To some people, it's just plastic, but some of these items are expensive. Some already discounted, and I've been collecting them for years. Some are already discontinued, and I've been collecting them for years. My nephew caught a glimpse of the room out of the corner of his eye and asked if he could take a look, and I said yes, but after dinner. The reason is simple. He's not very careful and not listening to what adults say. Even though I had explicitly ordered him not to, he had previously opened one of my Funko boxes at my house. My brother said at the time that he didn't know any better and was just simply interested. So I locked the room and I went back to the table. I think that my nephew saw that because he got quieter, but he didn't say anything. After dinner, I took him to the room myself. I showed him the figures in my collection. I also gave him a brand new Funko figure that I had just purchased, but hadn't had a chance to store. I believed that everything was well. But the next day, my brother called and made a huge scene. He said that I had embarrassed my son by closing the door, that I didn't trust a youngster who almost was grown up, and that I was more concerned about plastic than a boy's mental health. I told him that I didn't forbid him from watching. I just wanted to be there because these are my things in my house, and we had an unpleasant precedent in the past. Now my brother says that I turned an ordinary kid into a criminal, and our relations are a bit tensed. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, you do not owe your nephew unrestricted access to your house. Kids need to understand that there are sometimes parts of a house that are private or that can only be viewed under supervision. He's shown in the past that he's not trustworthy with your items, and even if he hadn't, you'd still be within your right to want to monitor a young child while they're in your space. So I don't think Opie did anything wrong here.
I think that the brother is trying to impart a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, he's a youngster who's almost grown up, right? And on the other hand, he's just young and he doesn't know any better, right? Where is the reconciliation between these two chasms? I just want to know that. That is a huge logical fallacy, right? He's either old enough to know better, in which case he should be, punished or, reprimanded or corrected in his ways. I don't mean like harsh punishments or anything like that. Or on the other hand, he's too young, or he's too young and he doesn't know any better, right? And so he needs to be monitored and controlled and make sure that he doesn't do things that people don't want him to do. So I think that OP is not wrong for this. The brother is just creating this double standard for the kid, and the kid is never going to learn how to be respectful of other people's property if he can just go ahead and do whatever he wants whenever he wants, right? If he has a problem, he can talk to OP. OP can sit him down and say, look, bud, I would love to have you be able to look at my stuff on your own, but, that's just how sometimes life is. You have to earn my trust, and you haven't earned my trust yet. So I think that's really what this boils down to, right? I feel bad that the kid feels bad, but OP isn't harming his mental health by stopping him from, having unrestricted access to OP's collection. That's just absurd. The kid needs to understand that there are some rooms and some places that they're not allowed to be, and that's that, right?
Right. Well, I think that's a really important point, is that not giving in to a child's every whim is not the same thing as harming their mental health. It may provoke unpleasant emotions in the moment, but it's important for kids to learn how to emotionally regulate and deal with those hard feelings.
Well, I mean, that's actually a really big problem that kids nowadays are actually having, right? This isn't just, kids these days type of talk. I mean, I've actually read some studies that suggest that, kids are having a harder and harder time dealing with unpleasant feelings, because a lot of the times what parents have been doing is setting them in front of like tablets or phones or any number of things whenever they start having unpleasant or negative feelings, right? And so they go to a tablet as a way to essentially pacify those feelings without actually sitting with them and trying to understand them and trying to work through those hard feelings, right? So I think that it is important for kids to feel these things, and to say, because they need to learn how to deal with unpleasant feelings, right? Like, if you never learn how to deal with unpleasant or hard feelings, then you're going to grow up without any emotional fortitude whatsoever, and you're not going to be able to really get very far in life, right? So, treating the kid like he's a flower that has petals that will be easily bruised if you do anything to him isn't going to help him at all, right? It's just going to hamper his growth. And I mean, there is of course like a difference between like the school of hard knocks and being like, let's just burn the kid with cigarette butts so that he, learns some, fortitude, and being like, talk to him and teach him how to get through these feelings, right? So there certainly is a healthy approach and a healthy way of doing these things, and teaching them how to regulate their emotional well-being. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Do you hear about the headphones that became friends?
I did hear about the headphones that became friends. It was an unlikely story. One was a pair of earbuds, and one was, a pair of over-the-ear headphones. And they met, at a library of all places. They were just walking around, and then they bumped into each other. And before you know it, they started talking about their shared interest in books and literature. They both liked audiobooks, surprisingly. And so they started, talking, and they started, trading books back and forth. And eventually, it just kind of naturally, bloomed into a nice relationship. And so now they are together forever, listening to each other's audiobooks.
They were earbuds.
Yeah, like I said.
And we have a dad fact today. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the most common Father's Day gift is a necktie. According to fathers, it's hard to look excited when you unwrap another necktie.
And I have licorice spice. And folks, today is a very special day. It's necktie day. So go find yourself a necktie and wear it around. It doesn't matter if you have a fancy suit or not. You just put one on. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
You partied it up, you've got to pony it up. No cause for refund.
I like it. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.